Hello friends, welcome back to programming. Now in today's session, uh, as this is virtual session over here, today I'm going to talk about programming practice and techniques. Right? Rather, how to build a programming logic. Right? How to convert a problem into solution. Right? Steps for solution. You'll get some get some hints about these all the things what I'm talking about. Means, friends, it is not possible for anyone, whether it is a experienced developer or a fresher one. You cannot directly convert that problem into the solutions. You have to go through the various pages. Point number one, for whatever the solutions you are planning to derive, it is not available. That's why you are there to write the solutions. Software projects are not the programs. They are solutions you can Google out from the net. You'll get the solutions of a factorial, prime number, Fibonacci, that programs available on the net so that you can copy and run it for the college assignments. But while dealing with the projects, clients are going to pay you, or like the industries are seeking the solutions. Means, like, as they don't have a solution available, as they don't have a software available, that's why they are paying you. It means the solutions are not directly available on the net. You have to write the code for that reason. You have to convert that problem into the solutions. Now in today's sessions, though I am not going to take a real case studies of industrial projects, but how given a question to you, given a problem to you, given a program to you, how you can convert it into the solutions, how to think logical to be deriving a solution out of the problem. That I'm going to discuss in today's session. Right? First of all, steps for solutions. It means, first of all, first step is understand a problem. Right? Here you have to make a requirement analysis. What is the problem? In your childhood, your maths teacher might given you the tip, that is, before writing the solution of a mathematical problem, first of all, read the problem well again and again. Understand the problem. Most of the solutions are actually like hide in the problems itself. You will get the clues when you understand the problem well. Right? So as I said, solutions are not straightaway available. So you have to make various hit and try. You have to make various analysis. You have to devote some time in understanding the requirements. The first step what you need to follow, that is, understand the problem. Right? And without understanding the problem well, you cannot or never be able to derive the solution of it. So firstly, the time you need to devote, take a pen and paper, sit down and understand the problem well. Understand the requirement analysis. What is the problem which you want to convert into the solutions. Right? Then the second step will be design the flow, right? or what I can say, plan the solution. Right? Let us understand, if you are planning to develop a building, do you think that you can directly go for the construction of a building? No. First of all, what you will do, you will draw a blueprint of it. You will design the architecture. So for designing the architecture, here in the programming practice and techniques also, after understanding the problem, we, with the help of flowcharts, I will be explaining you what are the symbols used for the flowchart. Right. Here these are the standard symbols. Here it's a process, terminator, decision box, relay, and many more things. But these are the ANSI approved standard flowchart symbols you have. By using that all the symbols, you need to design the flow. Right. Let's say your flowchart will look like this. By using these symbols, you may have a flowchart design like this. Right. So I'll be giving you all the notes regarding how to design the flow. Means from start to end, start to stop or end, you have to define a flow, and that is called the planning of the solution. That is called the design of the solutions. And then the third step is develop an algorithm. What is an algorithm? Algorithm is actually abbreviated for algebraic rhythm. Right? It's a stepwise elaboration of programming logic. You can say stepwise elaboration of programming logic. Right? So first of all, understand the problem, then design the flow by using the flowchart symbols, then develop the stepwise elaboration, right? And then to understand the steps for the algorithm. Let's say you want to algorithm, you want to write the algorithm for add numbers. Then every algorithm should have at least one input. So what the inputs you are doing? Read two numbers. Output. Define the input and output, and then addition of two numbers. Then you define the step 1. Read two numbers, and then write the implementable step like read A, B. Guys, just you need to understand that algorithm is not a programming implementations. It's a sequence, it's a stepwise elaboration of a programming logic. But while writing an algorithm, we need to understand one point, we need to consider one point, that all the steps what we are writing need to be or can be implemented by using any programming language. Right? So whatever the sequence you design, on that basis you need to define the steps for the implementations. But algorithm is not related to any programming language, or it doesn't consider the syntax of any programming language. It is an elaboration of the steps which can be implemented in any language over there. So algorithms, most of the times algorithms need to be a generic one. So whichever the programmer, whether it's a C programmer, C++ programmer, Java programmer, PHP programmer, whoever may be the programmer, after understanding that algorithm, he can able to implement that in that particular programming language. Means that he is a PHP programmer, means he knows the syntaxes of the PHP. If he is a Java programmer, he knows the syntaxes of the Java. So what he will do, by using the grammar of that particular language, he try to implement that step into that language. Right? In this way, he can write the coding. So before implementations, you need to go through what the 3 steps we need to understand. Requirement analysis. First of all, understand the problem well. Ask various queries to the client, ask various queries to the whoever will be giving you the problem, and understand the problem well. After that, you split it into the design. Like you, most of the time, what I observed that people directly start writing the coding. No, you cannot. This is not the problem definitions what I am discussing about. That is not related to the program. So as I said, the ready-made code is not available. So you need to firstly design the thing and then design the algorithm. So just like for example, I am giving you input. If you want to add 2 numbers, read 2 numbers, addition of 2 numbers is the output. So read 2 numbers, and here you have to write the implementable steps in the programming languages, right? So if you are a C user, then you have to think that okay, to read the numbers we have a scanf, and so you can write that steps and all, right? So you declare the variables for the top, and then you go for the scanning the values, right? Second is add 2 numbers, then you write about C equals to A plus B, right? And the third is your print value of C, right? And the fourth will be the stop. So this become an algorithm. I had just given a very simple example to you. What is exactly to understand the meaning behind the algorithm. Algorithm means it's a sequential elaboration of the programming steps. So what you guys need to do, like whatever the design steps flow you design, like the declaration of variables, the input statement, the process statements, the controlling and the output statements, that all things you need to elaborate in the step by step. And then your fourth step will be one is requirement analysis, second is planning and designing the flow, and the third is defining algorithm, and fourth step will be implementation of code, right? Then you write code the things, and the fifth step will be debug and test the, means on the given input, on the given data, you test that code, debug that code, and finally you can able to deploy it, right? So in the programming practice and technique, though you are right now dealing with the small programs, though you are not dealing with the real industrial and the clientele projects, but the better practice has to be there. Understand the problem, design the flow, right? Then define the algorithm, implement the code, whichever language you are studying, and then you debug and test it, dry run it on the given values. Like I always believe that a developer should be able to develop a code which is a bug free. Means like what compilers can do. Compilers are not going to help you out for writing the programming sequence, right? Whatever compilers are made for, trace out the errors, right? So it means if you are a good developer, you should able to develop such a code that it should not, like once you set for the compilation, it will give you the like bug free or zero error, zero warning, and you can able to directly implement over there. Because as your compilers are not helping you out for writing the code and developing the logic, it means they are just a tool to trace out the errors over there. So why we are going to do the errors? Initially, I do agree that some as we are learning freshers and beginners to write the syntaxes, some obvious some errors and some syntaxes you need to till you get expertise, some errors are bound to happen. But try and work it out that you should be able to develop the bug-free code. And then finally, means like if you dry run the things, you will get the output out of it, and finally you need to deploy it over there. So in the programming practice and techniques, every program, whether it's a small in nature or the bigger or any project, you need to go through these all the phases over there, right? Okay, once we understand that what are the phases involved in the implementation of any code over there, let us do some practice out of it. Okay, let's say you let us say you want to write the code for read a number to check even or odd. It's a simple question. Now, as I said, you cannot directly go for the coding over there. First of all, this is the problem, right? So you define the algorithm for it. You first of all design the things and understand the problem. Design by using flowchart, right? Start, then take the input as a number over there. Then you take a decision and all, right? Here I'm discussing about the algorithm. Let's say I'm writing algorithm. Check even or odd. Step then first after defining the algorithm title, think about the input. Okay. Read the number you require as the input, and output will be verification of even or odd. Now in the step 1, read a number, read n. Second, condition for even or odd. It means if that number given to you, how you can determine that number is even or odd? First of all, means like any number which is completely divisible by 2. So n modulus 2 equals to 0. Means if you divide by 2, if the remainder is 0, it means it's completely divisible. If n mod 2 equal to 0, then you need to print n. You're using the small n, so you make it small n. Print n is even, else print n is odd. Right? And here you define and if. Right? So you need to write the steps like this, generic steps, and then you need to stop the algorithm over. Now once you got this algorithms ready with you, then you still think about the implementation of it. You can implement in any language. Let us say today this is the program practice and techniques. I am using a C as a programming language to implement the code. So give the title to it. A pro to check even or odd, right? Even or odd number. Here you can write hash include stdio, the standard input output header file. Then you can go with the conio, right? And then you define the main method void main, right? Then you declare the variables you required like int n. Then you clear the screen. You ask the user that like whatever the steps I wrote in the algorithm. Now by using this algorithm, I need to convert it to the code over there. So print, enter a number. Right? You have to use a scanf to read the values %d at the address of n. You have to enter the number, and then you write the condition if n mod 2 equals to 0. Printf %d is even, that is the value of n, else you can say the printf the file, right? And if you then save it and compile it, you will get the result out of it, right? So what the bottom line is that whether the problem is small in nature or large in nature, if you understand the problem well, if you design the flow of it by using flow charting techniques, and if you can capable of writing the algorithm of it, it's very easy for implementations. Now if you test this code over there, you set to the compiler and you will not find any errors over there. It will give you the zero warning, and you will get the appropriate result. Why I am able to how I can able to build the bug free solutions? Because all the possible ways I already analyze, right? Because like the statements, the conditions, because most of the times people make an error over there, n divided by 2 equal to 0. This is a wrong condition, because any number is divided by 2, so it gives the fractional values, right? So every number is not a even. So what you need to write the conditions, the modulus of 2 means after dividing that number by 2, if the remainders comes 0, that is the correct statement. So these all the things actually need to be tested at the time of writing the algorithm and design, and then you can able to deployable bug-free code over you can able to produce, right? Let us take another example that your let's say read a number to find factorial, right? As we all know that factorial means n factorial equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to 1, means you have to set a loop which reduce the value of number till 1, and their multiplications you have to hold somewhere and it become a factorial of it. Let us write the algorithm, means you can able to design the flowchart after understanding the problem, right? Then you can design the flowchart algorithm for finding factorial, right? Step 1, sorry, first of all you have to go with the input, read the number, output factorial number, right? Step 1, read the number, and then you need to, in the below of that implementable step you write read n. Then second, right, logic for factorial. What is the logic for factorial, right? Repeat until the value of n remains more than 0. What you have to repeat? F equals to, here you have to set it f equals to 1, f equals to f into n, right? N equals to n minus 1, right? Means whatever the value of n, you multiply to f, and f as f is holding the multiplication, it has to initialize to 1, otherwise everything becomes 0. And then f equals to f into n, and n equal to n minus 1, and then n repeat. And then in the third step you print the value of f, right? And 4 stop. So once your algorithm is ready, hope you understand this logic for factorial. F equals to 1 as you are holding multiples. As what I said, what is it? Factorial means you have to reduce the value of number till 1. So you have to set the while n more than 0, n minus, and then the value of n will need to be held in the f. So f equals to 1. F is a variable which is holding the multiplications values of n. So n reducing itself by 1 till it remains more than 0, and the multiplications will be held in the f, and at the end if you print the value of f, you will get the factorial of any given number. Let us go for the implementations using C. Factorial of a given number. As this is your beginning session, so I'm writing the code in C only, considering everyone knows the C and all, right? So int n, and you declare int f equals to 1, right? And then you ask the user to get the value of n, enter the number. That all the steps which I wrote in the algorithm I am trying to implement by using any programming language. I can write the code in any other languages as well. Then you scan the values, and then you set the loop while the value of n remains more than 0, f into equals to n, and n minus. It is a short form of short expression of f equal to f equal to f into n, and it's a short form of n equals to n minus 1, right? And at the end of a loop, if you print a factorial, that is the value of f, you can able to print the factorial of it. And this is, if you save the code by .c and run in the compiler, you will get the result over there, right? Hope you understand, because in today's sessions what we learn, that whatever the nature of the problem, or whether it's a small problem, or these codes you will easily get in the net. But if it is a like you want to means like define some algorithm for the image processing, if you're finding some like the certain data you want to copy to the cloud, how much time it will take, is time estimation and all, and if you want to define the code for that. So for all this reason, like you need to if the problem definition is tough, then you cannot directly able to give come to the conclusion. The codes will not or not insist. So in such situations, you have to go through the phases. First of all, you complete your requirement analysis, design the flaw, then you need to define the algorithms, then you implement it, test it, debug it, and then deploy it further. Hope you understand the concept behind the programming practice, and in this way you can become more logical to provide the solutions to the any type of problem, and you become a solution provider. Okay, thank you.